All right, so today we're going to be doing the Photoshop Lesson 5 quick effects. So basically it's a lot of different things, but you're going to be doing very quick fixes, things that you would be doing normally like in your real life. Take a photo, maybe something's a little messed up, and how would you change that? So you're going to need some files. You're going to need the bridge start Photoshop document, PSD. You're going to need the columns start PSD, the glass start PSD, the car start JPEG, and you're also going to need the red eye. So let me go ahead and download the car and also download that red eye. So let's go ahead and take a look at the start. We want to start Photoshop. So we're going to go ahead and it says hold down. That's just to restore settings. So let's go ahead and open up Photoshop. All right, so now that my Photoshop is open, let's look back at the instructions. It says it wants us to file and then browse and bridge to open. Don't worry about that. Adjust the thumbnail slider. Okay, so in the favorites, they want us to grab the red eye start and the red eye end. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. So double click the red eye start to open it up in Photoshop. Okay, so in this case, we're going to open up the one that says red eye start. So over here, we're going to go to new file. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open that up. All right, I have the red eye open. I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side so I have a place to work for both windows. All right, so double click the red eye. Okay, we open this up here, choose file, save as to, don't worry about that for now. They want us to name it red eye working. Okay, so we're gonna, we have this open here in Photoshop because we opened it, and now we want to choose file, save as. So we're gonna do file, and then we're going to go to save as. They want us to call it red eye start or red eye underscore working dot PSD. Dot PSD means Photoshop document. So now then it's going to ask us, that doesn't matter, we're going to click OK. So now we can continue working on it if we need to stop midway or something. So it says select the zoom and drag in to see the woman's eyes. Okay, so let's grab this, zoom in. All right, I'm going to see how her eyes, I held spacebar by the way. Okay, so she has these red eyes from the flash. Now it wants us to grab the red eye tool, which is under the spot healing. So if we hover over to try to look for that spot healing, I believe that's the remove. I'm looking for I'm going to hold on. Okay, so it was under the one that looks like a little bandage. And we're going to find the red eye tool here. Now it wants us to, in the options, it says select it, and in the options, reduce the pupil size to 23. So pupil size up here, we have the options bar, 23%, and the darken amount to 62%. So we're reducing the red in her eyes to make it darker and basically match the rest of her eye. Click the pupil in the left eye and the reflection disappears. So click it, and you can see that it disappeared, which is pretty cool. Now, I mean, AI can do that a lot for you, but if you want to just choose something specific, there we go. Click the pupil in the red eye to remove the red reflection there too. And now her eyes don't have the red in there. The next part it wants us to do is the red. If the red reflection is directly over the pupil, clicking it usually removes it. If it doesn't, you can try the highlight or dragging around the entire pupil. So all that means, if I go back, they're saying you can like drag around like that and select the area. Well, I think that looks worse. I think the click worked pretty well, but that you do have that option. So view fit on screen, which is also Control 0. Now it looks, they said a little dark. So now we're going to brighten it. Let's go ahead and save what we're doing. All right, now we're going to adjust these levels. So in the adjustments panel, you have these panels over here. This is, if yours is not here, you can also go to window adjustments, right? But mine is right here. So I have the layer selected and I'm going to do stuff with it. So in the single adjustments, click curve. All right, so single adjustments, curves. And then the curves layer is added to the, okay, this is what they mean by that. It's added up here, it just got added. And then it says click the auto. So it should be an auto. And there we go, it auto brightened for us. Mostly on the midtones right here. Choose the lighter RGB from the preset menu. So here's your preset menu. It says it wants lighter RGB, red, green, blue, and then the difference. So while the auto analyzes the layer, it creates a custom. So we have the lighter RGB. Then it says click to reset the adjustment defaults at the bottom. So that's over here. If we reset, it goes back to normal. And then select on the image adjustment tool in the curls and click on the center of the forehead and drag up. So they want us to basically grab this. They want us to select her forehead to kind of like have a starting point of it. And then it says drag up. If I drag up, the more I drag up, whoops, you can see how brighter it gets. If I drag down, it's going to get a little darker. So if I drag up, she's getting brighter. It says you've just tried 3 different ways to brighten. They had the auto, they had the preset, and then they had this way. Choose layer flatten and save the file. So we're going to do layer up here. We're going to flatten. Where's my flatten? And it's going to flatten it down here. And then now it says save the file. So I'm going to do file save. So I had that one saved, and we're, I think, oh no, we're not done yet. We have to adjust her facial structure with Liquify. So it's still open. We're going to choose filter, and we're going to choose Liquify. It opened up this whole screen. So of course I can't read what to do next. Eye selection is expanded. Okay, so we go back to here, eye selection. They're talking about, if we're looking at this here, that's what they mean by expanded. Now we can actually fine tune some stuff. And that the link icon is selected for both eye size and the eye height. Okay, what that means is this little link, eye size and eye height, right? Anything you do to the left side does to the right side. It links together. That's why you care. If you do this, it's it won't necessarily see it made her eyes bigger or smaller. If I turn that off, it's only going to make one, and it's going to look. It's basically going to look weird. So she has one super small eye and one super big eye. That's why you want to make sure you have that link. So let me go back, put it at 0. So in this case, it says make sure the eye selection is okay. And then it wants eye size. It wants 32. Okay, so we made her, oh, whoops, I didn't have the thing. I only made one bigger. I have the link, 32. And then 10 for the height. So let's go ahead and put 10. Oh, first I have to put the link, and then let's put 10. Okay, and then that made the height slightly more. So anyways, all right, if it's not, we saw, okay, make the mouth section expanded, and then enter a 5 for the smile and a 9 for the mouth height. All right, so let's go over, let's expand this. So go to the mouth and the smile. They want as a they said a 5 and a 9 for the mouth height. All right, let's see how this works. Oh, that's funny. Look at this. Woo! Drag this up or down. You can see her lips got bigger and smaller. But in this case, they said they wanted 9 for the mouth height. Okay. And then deselect and reselect the preview to compare. All right, we got that. Oh, I forgot this one. Face shape is expanded. So let's open the face shape. And what we're doing is we're entering 40 for her jawline. That's going to adjust the jawline. And 50 for the face width. So now she looks like a different person, at least from a different angle. So this was the before and the after. You're going to hit OK to exit the Liquify. So I hit OK, and we edited her face. She's no longer the same person. I mean, she is, but slightly different depending on the angle. So that is how they do those tricks that you see on the magazines and in Hollywood and video. That's what they do. So, all right, close the document and save your work. So let's go ahead and save and then close this document. All right, so then now we're going to open up something else. Let's scroll down. And it says using blur effects. So file, browse bridge, which you're not using bridge yet, and we're going to open up the car start. All right, so file, open, the car start. So I have the car start, and you can see the aperture, the blur in the back. I don't know, it looks kind of weird. So I don't know. This looks kind of weird in my opinion. So it says compare them. All right, so let's choose it. Let's do file, return, and then open. We got it. We're gonna do new layer, copy. Okay, so choose layer, new layer. So layer, this is this one. Layer via copy. So it basically took this and made a copy of it right here. Yep, and so they want to rename it to car. All right, and then now it says with the object selection tool, if I hover over and I look for my object selection tool, I think it may be behind the crop, potentially. It's not. It's one of these. There's my object selection tool. So mine was behind the quick. I hit the object. Now if I hover over, it can grab an object, and I'm going to grab the car. And it did. Grabbed it pretty well. The selection may appear longer to take on older or slower computers. Okay. And then the layers panel, click the add layer mask button. So over here in the layers panel, they want us to add the layer mask. So that's going to be one of these. So that's going to be that. And then we basically just created that layer mask. And then now we're going to add a blur path. So in the layers panel, select the background layer and choose filter, convert for smart filters. Okay. So I have my selection. I chose the background. I choose filter. And then it says it wants convert to smart layers. I'm sorry, convert to smart filters. Okay. And then now I can do stuff with it. So now in the layers panel, double click layer 0, that's this one, and name it background blur. Now choose filter, blur gallery, path blur. Filter, blur gallery, path blur. Cool, but I think it did that to the dude's face too. All right, it did that. Okay, now we can adjust the path in which it blurred. So in the path it says change the speed value to 200. Oh, okay, so he's going fast. And then increasing the speed value makes the background blur more dramatic, but the blur extends behind. In the path blur section, deselect the centered blur. So deselect it. There we go. Oh, that's pretty cool. It took it out from the center. And now the blur only appears in front of the car, which is true. So here it doesn't. Now it only appears in front. Position the pointer over the handle on the blur and drag it so that the arrow points behind the car. Okay, so this is what they meant by this little arrow. We're going to drag it so it's behind the car. How far did it go? About the door handle. Click OK to close the blur gallery. Okay, so where's my OK button? OK. Cool. All right, now we're going to edit a mask. So the reason the driver is affected, I kind of mentioned that in the beginning, and it did not select the driver when it selected the car. You can correct this with the quick mask edit in the layers panel. So first of all, I selected the mask, and then it says click not the layer thumbnail. So they said don't click this. Click this. This is your mask, the black part. In it, click Add to Mask. Okay. So there is a possibility that when you click this, like I did, this isn't there. I would unclick, and then I would re-click here to get this back. So now we want to add to the mask, right? So if we want to add to this mask, select the brush and set the size to 30. So let's put this size up here to 30, 31, doesn't matter. And the hardness to 50, so it has like a soft edge. And then clicking Add to Mask switches it to the brush tool. Okay, so I have all that. And then now position the pointer near the back of the car opening where the driver was and drag the brush tool to edit the mask to reveal the driver. So zoom in. And they're saying if I go around here, this is removing the guy from the mask. That's how I got his face back. Next, you'll add a blur to the wheels to be more consistent with the speed implied. So instead, you'll apply a spin blur. First, you must isolate the wheels onto their own layer. So in the Layers panel, hold down the Alt key. All right, I'm in the Layers panel. I'm going to hold down the Alt key. And it says, as you drag the layer to create a new layer. Okay, so I'm going to grab this and put it right here at this plus. Dragging it, okay. All right, in the duplicate layer box, name the layer Wheels. And click OK. So basically, we're going to use this to only edit those wheels. In the Layers panel, drag the Wheels layer mask thumbnail, not the layer, to the delete icon. So, okay, we want this. We want to delete it. So don't be concerned with the background. Don't be concerned that the background is no longer blurred. It will be masked out soon. I was concerned. All right, in the Tools panel, select the selection. Okay, so let's go back to the selection brush. I'm going to hold down and grab the selection brush. It's one of these brushes. Not this one. Maybe the other looking brush one. That one. Okay, if you go to where we last used the magnetic tool, I found it all the way up here. There's your selection brush. You might have last used the magnetic tool if you were doing some other stuff. So here it is right here, right under your elliptical. So now that I have that selection brush and the option, select it to 50. Okay, so we want this to be, they said 50. And now that it's 50, we want the hardness at 100. Okay, and then drag the selection brush to paint over the wheels and the tires. So I'm going to get this little pink, and it says it wants the wheels and it wants the tires. So here's the wheels right here and the tires. It says don't worry about painting it perfectly. In the Layers panel, click the Add Layer Mask button. Okay, in the Layers panel, Add Layer Mask button, which is here. Cool. So now it looks like it got my badly colored circle. So applying a spin blur. With the new wheels now isolated by the mask, applying the blur will now affect only the wheels, and you can apply the spin blur as a smart filter, as you did before. So with the wheel layers, not its mask, this selected, choose Filter, Convert to Small Filters. So Filter, Convert to Smart Filters. Okay. And then Filter, Blur Gallery, Spin Blur. Filter, Blur Gallery, Spin Blur. Hover the pointer over the blue circle, okay? Position the pointer within the circle and not over any controls. So let me put it right over this. Ah, it looks kind of cool. And then drag to reposition it so its center is right here. All right, and then position the pointer near the edges of the front for the blur distance. When you're finished with your work, click OK. So that's one. I'll put OK. And then now let me add another one. It says we set to 50. I will try to do something close to that. All right. All right, adjust the rear wheel. We did that. Now you inspect the layers, and now your car looks a lot faster. Close the document and save your changes. All right, so we let this guy look like he's actually driving the car fast, which is pretty cool. So we're going to file, and we're going to go ahead and save as. Good thing we finished it here. We're going to go ahead. I went back to this. We're going to go ahead and file. We're going to save as, and we're going to choose car. It says to do car underscore working. Working.psd, and that's how we save that. All right, so we're 2 down, a couple more to go. So now we're going to create a panorama, and I will show you guys in class that panorama I made of the band, which is really cool because I was outside on the band on the top of the bleachers, and I took 1, 2, 3. I took like 5 pictures because the football field's so big, and I took 5, and I used this exact technique to put all 5 together, and it came out really cool and seamless. So that would be, of course, the whole reason for that. So let's go ahead and close this because it's saved. And now we're going to go ahead and open up all of these. So it wants us to open the lesson 5 folder, and it choose File, Automate, Photo Merge. Okay, so File, Automate, and Photo Merge. Now we're going to take all of the pictures that we had from the skyline, and it's going to merge them together. But first we have to find those. So if we go back here to Canvas, those files would have been the skyline 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to get the skyline 1, skyline 2, skyline 3, and the skyline 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now if I go back to Photoshop, they're saying I can merge them. I'm going to browse and get the 1. I'm holding Control, by the way. 2, 3, and 4. And I'm going to open them. So now we have our 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go back to what it says to do here. It says you're going to combine them. Shift select, I control click each one of them. In layout, okay, select perspective. Perspective is the one we want here. And then at the bottom of the photo mark, select the blend images together. So it's going to basically make it look like it's one. And the content aware fill, and then we're going to hit OK. So it wants all of these. Select blend, the vignette removal. It also wants the geometric distortion correction and the content aware fill. Okay, all of them. We're fixing everything. And then after that, we're going to hit OK, and our computer is going to run. So give it some time. Your computers could be slow. Let it do its thing. You'll see that this right here. It's loading. So let it load. Okay. So there it is. It created it, and then it's saying it's not sure what to do with this pink area, as it says here. So it blends it together, and when it's finished for a few moments, you'll see the full document with 5 layers in the panel. And then Photoshop identified the overlap, and then by putting basically the content aware. So basically, that's AI filling in what it thinks should be those edges. And then in the Tools panel, if the hand selection or object is still, highlight can be distracting. So you're going to choose Select, Deselect. Okay, and it looks pretty complete to me. And now we want to flatten it. So we're going to go ahead and go to Layer, Flatten. And now we have one long, seamless looking photo that looks like a panoramic, a very long looking photo. This one says we should probably save it. So let's go ahead and see if it's Skyline working. So we're going to File, Save As, and we're going to call it Skyline_working.psd. I'm going to hit OK. All right, I saved that, and it looks good, but they said it's a little dark. So we're going to add a levels adjustment. So in the Adjustments panel, in the Single Adjustment, click the levels. So here's the adjustment. Let me move my face. Adjustments, Single Adjustments, Levels. And then it wants us to add the white point eyedropper and then click white area of the cloud. So we're basically telling it what is white. Like we're telling the computer, hey, this is white. This is the white you want. So if I click that, it automatically brightens everything else because it knows what is white. And then it says it does that. The sky appears more blue when it was originally warm. And then we're going to go ahead and save our work. Click OK. I don't know where to hit OK. Now we're going to do File, and we're going to save. All right, it says filling the empty areas when cropping. All right, so this is still open. We did the layer flatten. In the tool, select the crop. That's going to be somewhere over here. I believe it's behind it. No, Maybe it's over here. No, it's right here. Okay. So now I have the crop and I have all my handles. And then the crop rectangle, okay. In the option bar, hit the straighten. Oh, because it's a little knot there. So we're going to hit the straighten up here. And then now it says generative expand. Ooh, where is that? I might have to pull my stuff open a little bit. Generative expand. So if I pull mine over, yours might be the fill here. It looks like background, but it's right there. And then after I do that, position the pointer on the horizon on the left side of the image and drag the right to create a straightened line that's aligned with the horizon and then release. Okay, so I have my straightening tool and they're saying basically drag here and that fixes it. So straightening the image slightly rotated it and then they will be filled in by the option. So basically what it did is when it slightly rotated it, it still made sure to add generative fill to the edges so you didn't basically have that anything looking like it's missing. Then you're going to hit the commit button, and then after we commit to this, or I could hit done. And then if you don't like it, then click generate 3 more options. So now that it's going to generate my fill, it gave me 3 different variations. This is the variations of the AI that they're talking about. So you have one, this is a variation, this is a variation, and this is a variation. And you can see the subtle differences. This one they added like, I guess, some rocks. This one they just honestly, this one doesn't look real because the bar like disappears and then it looks dumb. And then this one, the bar still disappears, but I think the first one was probably the best one. But that is something to, be careful at when you have your generate expand. Once you're satisfied with it though, and I'm not being picky about it, you can go ahead and save. And then now we're done with another one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this one. And now I'm going to do correcting image distortion. So you could take something and the distortion looks a little funny. So we're going to fix that. So we're going to go ahead and find the column start, which is the column. So let's go ahead and double click the column start in Photo. So we're going to open up the columns one. That would be this one. All right, now that I have my columns, let's see what it wants us to do. First of all, they want us to save it and they want us to call it columns working. So save as columns working. I'm going to save. And our columns working, save it. Okay, that's fine. Choose filter lens correction. So we're going to choose filter lens correction. And it wants us, let's see what it wants us to do. A couple things. At the bottom of the dialog box, make sure the show grid is there. So let's make this smaller. Said something about show grid. This right here. Uh-oh. Show grid. It also wants, and the preview selected, it is. In the alignment grid overlays to the image, to the right are the options for automatic correction, and then transparency, we're good. And the lens correction dialog includes auto correction. You can adjust each setting. In the correction, make sure auto scale image is selected, and the transparency on the edge. Select the custom tab, there's our custom. Drag the custom tab, remove the distortion slider to about plus 52. So we're going to remove distortion plus, oh, that's pretty cool. Look at that. Big bulge and then 52. Okay. And then alternatively, you could select the remove distortion tool. Okay. And drag it. The adjustment causes the image. Okay. But because you select auto scale, so let's let AI work for us by fixing things for us. If the horizontal lines aren't parallel, drag the horizontal perspective to about 14. So where is that horizontal perspective? Is here. It said to put it at about 14 because it's not perfect. And then deselect the preview to review how the image looked before. So they said if you go like that, it looked like that before. Now it looks like this. So that considerably looks less weird. And then click OK to apply and close the lens correction box. So OK, and then I'm going to, all right. Now we're going to go ahead and file and save. And now it looks more stable. So it says save your work, and then if we look, it looks better than it did before. So we're going to go on to our next image here. We're done with this one. Now we're going to do the depth of field. So sometimes you want to focus on the background or the foreground. So let's go ahead and open this one called the glass start. Open up the glass start. It looks like this right here. I'll turn this off. This glass is in focus, but then the back isn't. And if we look at this one, the back is, but the glass isn't. So we're going to mess around with it a little bit. So double click to open it, and then we're going to save this as glass working. So file, save as, glass underscore working. Hide the beach layer, so only glass is selected. You'll merge the layers using part of each layer that is focused, but first you need to align them. So in the layers panel, shift click to select both. So shift click. Now you can see both are highlighted. Then we're going to choose edit, auto align layers. So edit, auto align the layers. And we want, it says if auto isn't already selected, make sure the vignette removal or the geometric layers. These are the things that cannot be turned on, or else you end up with that weird looking thing that I did. So if you do that, that should basically, see they're like directly on top of each other. So if your first thing I gave you a weird look, it's because I didn't do exactly what they said. It says make sure neither are selected. So yeah. All right, then choose edit. Make sure they're both selected, and then choose edit auto blend layers. Edit auto blend. And it wants us to select stack and seamless tones and colors. So we're going to stack them. We're selecting seamless tones and colors. And then make sure the content aware fill is not selected, so it doesn't just add stuff you don't want in there. And then you're going to hit OK. And basically it made a combo of both of these by taking the glass and using it and taking the back. So now you have both of them in nice full focus. You're going to save your work and close the file. So we're done with this one. Now we get to do the train. The last one is the train. So we're going to go ahead and open the bridge start. So we're going to go ahead and go open bridge start. What do they want us? They want us to call this bridgeworking.psd. So save as bridgeworking.psd. Okay, bridgeworking.psd. I saved it. Now select the train layer. I selected it. It says the tracks are in the background and the train is on the foreground. See, if I go like that, the train disappears because the train is up in front of this background one. So we're going to choose Edit Perspective Warp. We're going to go to Edit Perspective Warp. And then now what we get to do is it says, and click above the smokestack and down. Okay, so where are we adding that? I'm with the perspective tool now. And I'm going to grab the smokestack, which is about here. And I'm going to select to about, they said here. And drag down to the railroad tie below the front wheel and drag across to the end of the caboose. Here's your caboose. Okay, so this is like floating, so they want it to kind of fix. Then drag a second quad for the front of the train, dragging across the cow catcher at the bottom and into the trees at the top. So we're adding another one. So they want a second one about here, I'm guessing. Okay, so this part is a little tricky. I was playing around with it. If you select here and you kind of end somewhere, it's going to connect to it. So you want to make sure that it said this is about the tree here. You want to make sure that it ends right where this other one ended. So if I go like that, it added this section to this. So I am trying to make the perspective on this look like this is the front of it and this is the side of it. So I'm kind of boxing in this train exactly the way that the image has it. Now that the quads are done, you're ready for the second step, actually warping it. So click the warp in the options bar, close the tutorial window that appears, and then the automatically straighten near vertical lines, click the warp. So let's see what that one is. It's probably this one. Automatically straighten near vertical lines. It says the lines are closed, making it easier. And then drag the handles to manipulate the planes, moving the back end of the train down. So now that it established what it's looking at, they're trying to tell me that I can pull these down. You see, I can basically pull the train down so it looks like it's on the track. Warp other parts as needed. You may need to adjust the front and pay attention to the wheels. Make sure you don't distort them. So now it looks like the train is on the track. And then while there are precise ways to get it, in many cases you just need to trust your eyes when it looks right. And remember that you return it because it's a perspective warp smart filter. You could always delete that filter and try it again if you messed up the first time. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And remember, you can always click on this to adjust in case you screw up. But now it looks like the train is on there. And we're going to go ahead and save our work again and close this file.